New York City became the largest city in the country to allow non-citizens to vote in local elections after the City Council on Thursday overwhelmingly approved legislation granting the rights to more than 800,000 legal residents. The move places New York City at the forefront of the debate over voting rights, serving as a stark contrast to some states that have moved to add voting restrictions, including explicitly barring non-citizens from voting. The legislation was approved over the objections of Mayor Bill de Blasio, who questioned whether the City Council has the power to grant voting rights to non-citizens. Legal experts expect that the bill could face a legal challenge. Non-citizens would be able to begin to register to vote a year from now. They could begin voting in local elections as of January 9, 2023. The legislation affects those with green cards or the right to work in the United States. It does not entitle them to vote in the state or federal elections.
Well, some people criticize that this legislation might deter immigrants from getting citizenship. More are focusing how this legislation might change the political landscape around the country. Because one thing is for sure, New York is not the only city that is doing this.
A proposal in the Illinois Senate would allow non-citizens to vote in local school board elections, but even supporters of the proposal say the legislation is not yet ready for prime time. Since at least 1996, it has been illegal for non-citizens to vote in federal elections. Certain municipalities across the country, however, have allowed the practice for local elections. In Chicago, non-citizens already have the right to vote in elections for local school councils, but with Governor J.B. Pritzker poised to sign an elected Chicago School Board bill into law, non-citizens' participation in school board elections has been given new life. Proponents of the proposal, however, said the current bill needs to be retooled in order to not create needless hurdles for voters to participate or result in any unintended consequences. Under the legislation as drafted, the State Board of Education would be responsible for distributing separate voter registration forms for non-citizen voters. Nubia Willman of the Office of New Americans, a department within the Chicago mayor's office, said because the form would require the person to list their residence, it could lead to non-citizen voters being deported if not properly advised by an immigration attorney. Other supporters voiced concern that the proposal does not address foreign language assistance procedures and that voting would only be limited to non-citizens who are parents. Tom Bright, executive director of the Peoria County Election Commission, said one of the complications would be non-citizens needing to register with individual school boards. Those school boards would then need to submit voter affidavits to election authority offices in order for names to be entered into the secondary database. This process becomes more complicated when school districts stretch across different county lines and when there are a high number of school boards in a single county. Sizewood, China America Radio, Chicago.